My dear student pals, I'm extremely elated to meet you through this video. I don't promise you that this 12 minute is gonna change your life. But imagine if you had a brother or a senior who's a little elder to you. Their experience and their advice would surely be considered, right? So here I am to offer you my 2 cents. So before I start, the one question I want to ask you is, have you become the scientist of yourself? Well, if you ask me, what's that? Have you started to experiment what you want in your life and why you want it? This drives to the factor that what's important to you matters to you and what not doesn't. For instance, parents might have forced you to take more marks, to get more marks. Faculties would have asked you or forced you to focus on curriculum, and your friends, of course, they would have asked you to macha, let's focus on entertainment, let's go for extracurriculars. But have you analyzed all these and figured out what's more important and what's not? Well, that is my session all about, and that's all about goals. The traditional approach to goals lead to smart, specific, measurable, achievable, time bound, and realistic. But leaving off this aside, I'm going to share my experience. And if it gets connected to the SMART goals, well and good. And if you think, no, my session is absolutely nonsense, then let's debate. Just come over. So, the first thing I want to start with goals. When you have a goal, just start to plan out things. And when I say this, I just remember once Abraham Lincoln told us, if you have 6 hours to chop down a tree, spend the first 4 hours to sharpen your life. And that's all about planning. So before you start your goal, just plan out things like what I am gonna do, what is that I need the most, and how I'm gonna do it. So after driving your planning, so you just get down those things into words, or otherwise just stick it on your board or somewhere where you wake up to imagine, wake up to see that every day. So that is what I did. When I was in college, I still remember that evidently that every day I used to have goals for myself. For instance, finishing off a chapter in a particular subject, or I would focus on preparing for international conference papers, or whatever it is. I used to jot down those things, just stick it on my wall, and whenever I wake up, I just see that, or after a nap, I just get up to see those things, and that is what motivated me. And the key to motivation is to see what you want to do, and that will drive you better. So the next thing is, after planning out things, obviously, there's a secret that or an unsaid thing that will happen in your life. At the age of 18 to 26, you'll have a lot of distractions in life, and so I did. There will be relationships, there'll be friendship, there'll be heartbreak, and so many other emotions going on in your heart. And I'll tell you what, have envy, have jealousy, and have the guts to face your distractions. In life, if your friend gets more marks than you, or if your friend is more successful, do not envy him, but envy your distractions. For instance, you have you are in a relationship and you have a problem in that. The question is, you have a fight or you break up, the next day you have an exam, will you be able to score good marks? That is the question, and I leave the answer to you. If you're able to do that, then very well, you have the power to overcome your distractions. I'm not saying your love is not true or any of that sort, but having distractions is one of the key to challenges, and without challenges, there's no taste of success. So once you've planned to overcome your distractions and you've set your goal, and you've buckled your shoes and started to run towards your goal, I just suggest you one thing. While you set your goal, ask this to yourself: is this goal big enough for me? The reason I'm telling you this is because there's totally 535 engineering colleges in Tamil Nadu, if I'm not wrong, and there's a lot more all over India. A lot of graduates coming out every year. Is that settling for an IT job with 30,000 or 25K, and coming out from a mechanical department and setting out for 20 or 30K, is that going to satisfy myself? And if it does, then I'm telling you, your goal isn't big. Goal should be something which is a dream for many, and dream that many don't have the guts to even think of. I'm not telling to become a superman, but your goal should be, it should give you the satisfaction. It should be a drug. And I'll tell you this, being a non-alcoholic, I don't understand the words of what an alcoholic speaks. But when I achieve something big, when I get the first rank, and when I do something which is an non-achievable, unachievable goal for many, I get the drug which others don't understand. If you want to taste that drug, keep your goal, set your goal really high, and others don't even dream of it. And that time, you'll get the satisfaction that others can't even imagine of. So once you've set out for this goal, the next thing is, there's two suggestions. One, either you can keep your goal a secret. You can tell your friends, there's nothing wrong about that, because telling out keeps you reminding of what your goal is. But if you want to keep your goal a secret with your family, with your cousins, or with your relatives, you can do that. Absolutely no problem. Just keep the goal a secret, and don't let them just keep telling you or reminding you, because you have to do that yourself. Keep reminding yourself, this is what my goal is, and I'll have to strive towards that. And that is when you can achieve something big and show them, see, I've done something in silence, and I've just come out with flying colors. The next thing about goal is, if you don't achieve your goal, there'll be someone to replace it. A small instance, being a big fan of Dhoni. I still remember my dad. He was a big fan of Sachin. And once, he told me, after Sachin, everyone would lose interest in cricket. That is when Dhoni boomed up. And today, I'm still sure that many of y'all who are watching this video are also fans of Dhoni. After Sachin, he carried the triumph. And today, when we think who's going to be there after Dhoni and no one's going to watch cricket, there's Virat taken over. There's still so many fans for him, and there are people watching cricket still for Virat. That is how it is. When you think of something, when you think that, okay, I'm not able to achieve this goal and no one's going to achieve it, you're wrong. There's going to be someone taking over your position, and that is when you remember, goal is always like a train, and if you miss it, it will go on its way. No one will stop it for you. So keep your goal, keep stressing towards it. Even if you have to go the extra mile for it, just go, no worries. For the ones having arrears, if you think just passing my grades, passing my subjects is gonna be the goal for me, yeah, very well, I don't have any issues. But the one thing what I would suggest you is, if you ought to clear your arrears, follow the divide and rule motive. That is, just go to your friends, just tell them, okay, Machan, just come. Best thing is having 5 friends in a group. You know why? There's totally 6 subjects, and everyone can learn each chapter. And that is what I did in my life. There were 5 friends for me, and there were totally 6 subjects, as you would have now. We just said, we every Saturday or Sunday we used to meet. We used to tell, okay, you're gonna read this chapter, you're gonna read this, and we used to divide among ourselves. And the very next weekend we used to meet, we used to discuss on the chapter that each of us had promised. And that is how we got things done. And I'll tell you what, everyone in my gang ended up with an 8 plus CGPA. And trust me that this happened. And I would suggest you the same. You might have entertainment, you might have other things. It's a life to be joyful. But remember, you have the woods are lovely, dark and deep, but you have promises to keep. So just sit down with your friends, plan out things. Okay, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. And while you work out things, when you study like that, I'm pretty sure, I promise you, that you would get better results, and that way one of your goals would be achieved. And this is not only for the ones who are having arrears. If you plan out for an CGPA over 8.5 or above 9 plus, this technique would surely work out. This is one of the goal that I had in my life, to get a good CGPA, and it happened through my friends, through the technique divide and rule. Having set a goal that is pretty high, you've set high standards for yourself and you don't know where to begin. Just try to follow the 21 rule challenge. That is, anything that you do for 21 days, from the 22nd day it becomes your habit. If you think studying is you're not able to do that, if you think just managing your time is tough, just follow that for 21 days, and from the 22nd day you'll automatically do it. While you set out to march towards your goal, don't forget to have milestones, that is, celebrations. You have struggled, you have worked hard, and in due course of that, you might achieve the goals that you've kept in a short term. Once you achieve that, have celebrations for yourself. Set out, go for a restaurant alone, go for, a dinner, have something good, or celebrate yourself through something that you love. And this will motivate you to do better, and that will give you the success in life, not only for the short term goals, even for longer ones. If you have set out your goal and you strive hard towards it, I'm going to give you 5 watchwords that you ought to follow, and I bet you would be successful if you follow this. 1, have the hard work. 2, determination. 3, conviction. 4, perseverance. And 5, control. Whenever you plan out things, have the perseverance to set out your goals, plan out things, have the conviction, that is, when you have obstacles, you have to move on. Determination, whatever struggles you have in your life, the goal should be the only thing you should see. Hard work, obviously, just planning out things won't work out. Whatever the struggle may be, you have to work hard. You know, you have to set things in life. And 5 is control. When you have these distractions, you should control yourself in order to set your goals and in order to achieve them. The one golden rule I would tell you that happened in my life is that when you set your goal, there's one thing you have to do, and it is directly proportional to the success you have in life. That's sacrifice. Goals are directly proportional to the sacrifice you make in your life. For instance, you might have opportunities to spend time with your friends, go out with them, spend time, like just for entertainment, and you would surely miss the time you study. You would miss the time you do something productive. Are you willing to sacrifice that? And this sacrifice would lead towards your goal. There's many a times when I sacrificed my time. I wanted to spend time with my friends. There's many a times when I wanted to chill out. I just sacrificed them for my goal. I might have not achieved my goal 100%, but I would promise you that I'm 80% already there. So, whatever you take, whatever it may be it a short term goal or a long term goal, there's always the sacrifice that plays a major role in that. If you're willing to sacrifice something, surely the productive thing would be more. The question is, what is that one thing you spend more on something unproductive that you're willing to sacrifice for your goal? Earn for your goals. Your goals should keep you happy, should keep you positive, should keep you open minded, should keep you, should make you trust yourself. The reason I'm telling you this is because the problem with our parents is that if you don't tell them what your goal is, and if they don't see you striving towards that, they'll offer you something that you don't like, and you like it or not, you have to accept it. You know, you end up not achieving your goal. They tell you, okay, just join a firm, get a salary that is more than enough for us. And if you start striving towards your goal, and they see that visually, okay, he or she is striving hard, they are struggling, they are doing things, and then they offer you the support that you need. And I'll tell you what, bolstering, getting support from your parents is more than enough than anything towards your goal. If you don't overcome your temptations, I'm telling you, you're a loser. You don't lose by losing to someone, but you lose to your temptations and your distractions. And that is the biggest thing you can ever lose in life. I'll tell you something, a real story that happened in my life. There was a close person, one close to my heart. His dad passed away, and the very next day he had his university exams. He was with me abroad. He wept. He wept loud. But the next day he went to write his exams, and believe me or not, he was the university topper and he won the International Student Award. Is there someone who knows you better than yourself? If you can understand the meaning of this, you would have known who that person I'm talking about. Beat any distraction, just march towards your goal. And someday you would feel proud about yourself. Don't forget the celebrations, don't forget the planning, don't forget the 5 rules that I told you. Just make your parents know that you are striving, and one day when you reach your goal, there would be no person who would be more happier than your parents are. And that leads to me to one Tirukural which I love. ஈன்ற பொழுதின் பெரிதுவக்கும் தன் மகனை சான்றோன் என கேட்ட தாய். Your parents will feel proud of you. Walk towards your goal. You will achieve it. See you. Bye. Take care. Jai Hind.